Okay, good evening nuevamente. I'm Elizabeth Ortega Lomayer, the producer and host of Elecciones 2018. And tonight we will speak with Grace Rivera-Oven. She's a candidate for a county council at large seat in Montgomery County. And helping us tonight with the interview is Santiago David Tavara, editor de Metro Latino USA and writer for El Tiempo Latino newspaper. Well, welcome everybody in Facebook Live. Welcome Grace and Santiago. And
Good
Grace,
thank you.
we know that all the Latinos in Montgomery County will vote for you for sure. That we know for sure too.
I hope so.
Tell us why the non-Latinos should vote for you.
Well, I was raised in the city of Gaithersburg. I am a person that has been very involved in the community. I have served on so many committees, commissions, boards, and so on. And I am a person that I think I can bring that bridge among, the two communities. I feel very comfortable in both. I've been doing advocacy for the last 30 years. And I'm a person who likes to work on issues across the aisle, with different people. Like to mediate. If there's an issue, I like to mediate it. If there's an issue that we need to tackle, I like to bring everybody together. So I think I have a good background to do that. And I think the community at large knows me as a hard worker and as someone who truly cares about the issues.
And you have 4 children.
I have 3 children.
3 children.
3 children, but it feels like 4.
Santiago, what are your questions tonight?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Grace. Nice talking to
Thanks,
you.
Santiago, for having me. Thank you.
Tell me about yourself. Where you come from? Where do you live? What do you do now?
Okay, well, currently I live in Germantown with my wonderful husband and my children and my beautiful mom. I was born in La Paz, Bolivia, in South America, and came here on December 16th of 1980, right before my 10th birthday, and grew up in the city of Gaithersburg. Went to school in the city, graduated from Gaithersburg High School. My extended family, they all live in the area. We all lived within, next door to each other for many years. And I'm an only child.
Nice.
Then I went to Montgomery College, went to Hood College. And so this has been my home for almost 40 years.
Nice. What is your major achievement in life here? As a person or as a politician?
So I have 3 wonderful master's degrees. One is called Amalia. She's 23. Actually, she's a PhD degree.
Yes.
So Amalia is 23. She currently is working for Senator Conway in Annapolis, who is the chair of the health committee, and she is in the process of applying to medical school. She's a graduate of UMBC. My second master's degree is Marco, and he is my campaign manager.
Nice.
And Marco is also going to follow the path of pre-med. He works currently for Dr. Alberto Martinez, who's an eye surgeon in our community, a wonderful person and mentor to him.
Eye doctor, right?
And he's an eye surgeon. Yep. He's
I
great. And then my third master's degree is Christian, and he's a sophomore at Clarksville High School.
Oh, nice.
So those are my major achievements right now.
That's cool. And now there are too many candidates, running like more than 30. What are you offering now, different from them?
Okay.
How distinguish
So
it?
I just want to say a word about how people say that there are too many candidates. I think it's a blessing that we live in a community where so many people care. There are communities around this country who hardly have anybody who cares to run. So we have, 30 plus people who are saying, I care, I want to run, I want to make a difference. Not all of us are going to be able to make it on that last day, but I hope, that care continues throughout. So my issues that I'm running is issues that I've been passionate about it pretty much all my life. I am very thankful for having had the chance of an education education was always a priority in my home. It was always a priority with my mom. My mom was a single mom, and she makes sure that school was her number one priority. So I want to make sure that every child has that availability and access to it. The other issue that I have, especially now with everything that's going on, I done a lot of work in the healthcare arena, and I think mental health issues in supporting a lot of those issues are important for us to look at what we have in the county, especially now that we have an increase of suicide attempts among our young, teenagers and so on, and with everything that is going on, we need to kind of look at that. And of course, I live in Germantown. And let me tell you, traffic in Germantown is not fun. It's not fun to commute down 270 from that Clarksburg, Germantown area. And we need to do something about the traffic in this area. Very quickly, my husband, the joke in our home is that he prefers to go to Mexico City, to the office in Mexico City, because then he gets a lot of work done. And he's not going 2.5 hours to Virginia one way, and and he goes, yep, it takes me 5 hours to go to Mexico City, and for the whole week I'm there, and they have such a good infrastructure when it comes to traffic. So we definitely need to look at that, and also infrastructure, where there's going to be the buildup. We need to look at those areas near Metro and so on. So those pretty much are the issues.
How are you going to find funding for this? Are you planning to support like increasing taxes, or you are against?
Look, I'm increasing. I'm not even in office, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So I think we have been very generous with the budget for the school system. I think it has always been a priority in Montgomery County, which is why we have one of the best school systems in the country, which is why I think we have companies that look at Montgomery County so they can come, and live and reside and so on. And it's why we have companies like Marriott who decided to stay in Montgomery County. The quality of life is important. So I'm going to continue the trend to support education, to support our teachers, to treat teachers as professionals.
Yeah.
I think that is an issue, in other countries, teachers are seen as professionals. And I think we need to do that in this county as well. So I'm going to keep supporting the way that we have been funding school as a priority. And I think we have been doing a good job at it.
Did your children go to public schools?
Yes, on and off. So as I said, my PhD, Amalia, she went elementary school, middle school, and then in 8th grade, she came to us and said, I really would like to go to an all-girls school. I don't want to deal with boys during my high school career. So we said, okay. And she went to Holy Cross. So my kids, went all around Washington Grove, Cedar Grove, Gibbs Elementary, Rocky Hill Middle School, and Clarksburg has been our school. So, and I went, my career, pretty much in this country was all public school, including Gettysburg High School, which is my alma mater.
You came late to this campaign. What are you doing to get fundraising?
Better late than never.
Why so late? And what are your fundraising efforts? Like outreach to voters.
Well, I never needed a title for me to serve my community. I've been an advocate for the last 30 years. So if somebody needs me, they call me directly. So I never needed, a secretary or anybody. I'm always accessible. So I want to bring that to what I'm doing and to the county council. I always want to be accessible to the people who need me. Why so late? Well, I was deciding whether or not this was a good time. Like you said, there's so many candidates running. Many people said to me, Grace, you should have done this 4 years ago when there were less candidates running. But with everything, everybody has their own lives and they all have to assess it. 4 years ago, I still had my grandmother with us, and my mom lives with us as well, and I still had, a young child at home, and my husband travels quite a bit. So, it's that balancing of women that we
Mhm.
have to do, right? So you have to put it all in a balance. And this time, my biggest encouragement were my two younger kids who said to me, "Mom, this is your year. You need to do this." So I decided, especially with the incident, as I told Elizabeth, that happened at my son's school at Clarksburg High School in Young Men, after the massive shooting in Florida brought a gun to school. That's what did it for me. I decided that that indeed this was my time, and I was going to listen to my kids and do it. So I know it's a little late, but I'm a hard worker. I'm resilient. I'm doing my questionnaires, which is a lot of them, but I'm doing them. I'm doing my questionnaires and doing my fundraising. I have been able, in the last 10 days to raise over $9,000, and I'm going to keep doing that. We're going to be opening our campaign headquarters in the heart of Bethesda in the next couple of days. So I'm going to be going from living room to living room, listening to people.
Good for you.
And hearing what they have to say.
I have another question about the participations of Latinos in this election specific. I think that there are probably 4 that are running right now. Well, we have Nancy Navarro, who it's already in the county council,
Correct.
and
Sol.
Ana Sol Gutierrez, who is probably going to win in her district. So there are 2 already, and Americans are used to 1 in everything. So
Well, I'm an
if you
American too,
if you
so.
if you run and win, there will be 3. How many are too many?
There's
Or
never look. I think we need to look at this. We need to look at the bigger picture. Those days of we have one person, one woman. I think those days for me, that formula. We need to reinvent our own formula. We need to elect the people that are electable, that knows the issues, that has the pulse in the ear of the community, that are hard workers, and that they're going to be able to work with the people and for the people. So to me, there's not too many. It's actually electing the folks who are going to be able to make those tough decisions for the good of the people. So those formulas don't mean much to me.
and it's about time too, probably.
And it's
right?
about time. I mean, we are at a crossroads in Montgomery County. We're at a very pivotal stage, if you will, that we need to start representing the folks in this county, that need representation and to need to be and have a voice at the table. And those folks look like me. And looks, and we need more women in politics. It's one of the reasons why I decided to run. So, no, too many is not too many. I'm so glad that so many of us are
The
running.
more, the merrier.
Absolutely. I think it makes us a better county,
Yes.
after all.
And these are new days too.
Yeah.
You mentioned the recent shootings in high schools. What's your position on gun control?
I think we're very lucky in Maryland to live in a state where actually we do have some of the the most restricted gun laws. We can do more. What I'm concerned about is the access that young people like this young man had in my son's school. Their mental state of our young people. The need to bring a gun to school, a loaded gun, not once but several times. And I think we need to have that conversation. We need to have that conversation as a community, as parents. We cannot put our heads in the sand and say, oh, it's an isolated incident. This is not the first incident at my son's school. This is the 3rd incident in less than 2 years. So that conversation needs to take place. And I am just very humbled by the fact that so many moms in my community are stepping up to the plate and they're joining forces. It is incredibly disheartening and sad to me that we have to have our young people take the lead on this issue. I feel that we let our young people down, but I think those of us are going to be marching along the side of our kids on March 24th. I plan to do that and organize more young people to go down to DC to have their voices heard. And and let's not forget, over 4 million of them are going to be turning 18 this year. by the primaries, we're going to have over 4 million young people turning 18. And I think their voices are also going to be heard across the country in a lot of these elections.
Those 4 million are in Montgomery
No,
County?
I mean, in the country.
Nationwide.
Yeah, nationwide. But we have a very young, large population of young people in Montgomery County.
Yes, we do.
And I think it's important to make sure that they have a voice and that they're involved in the political process.
What would you recommend to voters before making a decision on who to vote?
Well, I know it's a lot of reading, but
They can watch my interviews.
They can watch your interview and be well informed. I think voters of Montgomery County, they're pretty smart. They can tell who is going to make a good representative for them and who's going to represent their values. So the way I used to do it, and I'm a former member of the Board of Elections as well, I would say get informed ahead of time. Start doing your homework. Start reading about their issues. See if those folks have roots in your community, what they have done for your community, what trajectory they have and they bring to the table, and make those decisions based on their records.
Santiago.
Can you talk about why you quit from David Trump's congressional campaign? You were a political director there.
I was a political
yes.
director. Yes. Thanks. Okay. Well, thank you for asking. Well, again, this was something that I was thinking about running for a long time, and where so many women specifically were stepping up to the plate around the country. This is the most women candidates we have ever had in the history of our country. Bravo. So when so many women are stepping up to the plate, I decided that I was going to hear that call as well, and decided that I was going to run for office. So the main reason I left is for that. I was able to help them with, doing and developing a lot of their policies, a lot of, like their whole thing on opioids and things that are important to their campaign, and I was very proud and happy to be able to have done that, especially also with health and immigration and DACA and all those issues.
There were any concerns on the environment, work environment, or treatment of staff?
Are you specifically talking about the minor detail block?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I have to tell you, I never spoke to Mr. Minor. I have to say, I never. I don't even know what he looks like. So you would probably have to ask him where he.
But
got
where
his
did he get this information that was all over
quite honestly,
social media?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. I can tell you, it wasn't from me. So this was, this is a political year. People write blogs. People, there's a lot of people who don't like each other. It's politics. But all I can tell you is that I left so I could run for office.
But as a woman, do you feel mistreated?
Like I said, I was happy, to work on a lot of those policies and so on. The political world is run mainly by men, so it's not sometimes an easy environment for a woman to be in, and I think we're seeing that all around our state and our country, right? So I can tell you that I left so I could run for office.
And I think you say that it's time for women, right, to run. And what do you think about the Me Too campaign?
Oh,
do you have any specific proposals?
Well, let me tell you, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, and also I went as a young woman working as an interpreter in the court system. I was sexually harassed, so I know what it feels like to have gone and walked those shoes. And I have not really shared this publicly, but I think since I'm running for office, I have a duty to do so, because I think it's so important that so many young women and women of all ages are coming forward to say, no more, no más, this is where it stops, because we need to make sure that the road that we leave behind for the next generation is a road where they're not going to have to worry about being harassed, so sexually harassed and so on. And I think women are taking the lead. So this is another movement, right? So we're seeing the movement with the youth, with all this about gun control, and they're fighting for their lives. Well, women were fighting for our rights. We're fighting to have equal pay. We're fighting to be treated, in a respectful way. We're fighting in every way not to be sexually harassed at a workplace. And all these are important. And it's time, as my saying is, because I hate the saying men up, I'm saying women up. It's time for women to women up, because it's 2018. It's 2018, and we need to face these issues up front.
In that note, thank you very much, Grace, and thank you,
Thank you.
Santiago David Tavara, and I wish you lots and lots of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you to all our friends in Facebook for joining us tonight. We'll see you again next Thursday. Thank you. Bye bye.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Y tenía más preguntas.